What's going on, everybody? So I want to talk about this movie Soul that I just watched with my kids. We're usually very careful with the things that we watch and we pick, and so I kind of wanted to just see this one more out of curiosity than anything. I don't really watch too many movies. I watch a lot of old TV, Cosby Show, stuff like that. Um, but I want to talk about this because it's so clear to me. Now, some of you might not agree. I'm watching the movie and I'm just taking notes, and then obviously I talk to my kids about it afterwards. This guy, he's a black character, and it was really, and I guess that's the big reason I wanted to watch it the most. Honestly, they had the Disney animation, the black characters, and it just, it looked cool. It was interesting, and so I wanted to check it out. All right, so we're watching it, and in the beginning of the movie, the guy dies, and then his soul is like floating into the great, beyond or whatever. And there's no, mention of God or anything like that, which I already wasn't expecting. That I kind of just wanted to see where they were going with it. But the part that really was like bothering me is when he kind of fell off of that path. So he was on this path, and there was like a great light, and all the people had died that were headed to that great light. And somehow he escaped and he fell in this other place where apparently the souls begin. And they dictate to those young souls, what they're going to be, what their personality is going to be, and then they send them to Earth. So right there, they're putting that argument, you're born this way, right? So before your soul ever hit your body, this is just who you are. We made you this way. You were born this way. You can't help it, right? And the beings that they had in there that were telling these souls, what they were going to be, they were like half male, half female, like a bluish pink color. Half of the body was drawn like a female, half of the body was drawn like a male. And so they called themselves Jerry. So it was a male name, and they were making it like there was no gender, right? Like they didn't have a gender. Like they were the male and female. They were both, and it was just a lot of confusion right there. And then when I missed a little part of it, but when I came back, the soul of this teenage girl or whatever that was up there was now in the black man. So now for the rest of the video, the black man is running around with a girl voice, right? And the girl soul is inside of him. And even right there, okay, I'm like, there's a little something weird, there. So you see this black man run on the screen, but for the most of the movie, he has this girl voice, like the soul that was in him, even though it was an accident, it was a girl. And I'm just looking at these little things, and you know, fortunately, my kids, they're smart enough to know. Like they were pointing out, hey, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong. But to a lot of kids that don't know any better, that don't have anybody to teach them or guard them, you just watch stuff like this and you think, oh, this is just entertainment. And it's like these little messages are being put in their head, and they're like, oh, well, this is what a soul is, and a soul doesn't have no, and it's like in their subconscious. And there's really people out there. I even really believe, that there's people who make these movies with that kind of stuff in mind. And they've had conspiracy theories and things for years, which I don't believe is conspiracy. They put little hidden messages in the movies. I believe that there are people who make these cartoons, who make these movies, and just like authors would put hidden meanings and messages in books, they do the same thing. They feel like, they want to program, they're educating the world, but really it's just indoctrination. So that's just my quick thoughts on it. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't suggest, you know, allowing your kids to watch that kind of stuff. There's plenty of other things that they can watch. Obviously, I sat down and I talked to my kids, but they already knew what was up. But I mean, for some, you say, "Hey, no surprise," that's not a surprise at all. But it's just, I guess it was interesting to me, and I'm actually glad that I watch it just to see how they're doing it, how they're approaching it, like what tactics they're using. We already know that they're doing the they had the gay stuff going on in the kids' cartoons. I think it was on Cartoon Network, and Disney had a few things like that. And they're, the kids look up to the superheroes, so they tried to make the superheroes have the that whole LGBTQ thing going on. So it's a lot of really just hidden messages. And the lesson in the of all of this is that you just got to be very aware of what your kids are watching, what they're looking at, especially when they have such access to tablets, phones, and all other kinds of entertainment. You got to be involved. You got to be checking, and you got to see where their mind is at and things like that. Love you guys. Be blessed. Be encouraged in Jesus' name.